Russia hit an apartment building in Sumy. The number of injured has risen to 7, including 1 child. A fire broke out from the 2nd to the 5th floor. In total, rescuers evacuated 35 people. My name is Albina Pidhirnyak. I'll tell you more news next.
There will be a huge bang now. It will almost be visible. They are finishing it off. Let's go. Let's go. Red lights. He will fall now. They didn't even hit him. Now the rocket will fly. And there. Let's go. I anointed him. And here. Let's go. This way. Yeah, that's it. We hit it.
Last night, drones hit the Russian city of Engels. There is an oil depot and an airfield there. The aftermath of the strikes is still being clarified.
Everything is burning, Nastya. Everything is just broken.
Local residents also showed that drones reached the Russian city of Volgograd. There is a lot of swearing in the video, so it is not useful as a news report, but you were able to see the footage itself. Commander-in-Chief Alexander Syrsky said that our fight continues and mobilization efforts in Ukraine will go on. Syrsky explained how the newly mobilized soldiers will be trained and what the main steps in their preparation are.
The enemy keeps attacking. So we have no choice but to strengthen our defense and our army to continue resisting Russia's full-scale aggression. Our main focus is not equipment, but people. Mobilization, recruitment, new contracts, and most importantly, proper training. We must constantly improve training and move forward, not stand still. I stressed this during the monthly meeting on improving training quality. The basic training course has already been extended to 51 days. There is also specialized training and an adaptation period in the units. We must improve this whole process, raise the level of instructors, and modernize training centers so that we prepare truly capable soldiers. During the meeting, I reviewed reports on improving training quality, developing training programs in combat brigades, increasing safety in training centers, selecting instructors for assault units, and improving the first adaptation period for newcomers. I also emphasized how important it is to properly support soldiers at the very beginning of their training, because most problems happen during this stage. Units shared their experience and solutions. After an audit, we now have feedback from all training centers on every part of the basic course. We clearly see which centers are leading and should be an example for others. We are continuing to move training farther from the front line and assigning Army Corps to training grounds in central and western Ukraine. At the same time, I stressed that building and equipping shelters in training centers must be accelerated. In some places, safety conditions are unacceptable. We cannot ignore the safety of our soldiers. I issued instructions to fix these issues. We are strengthening our work to endure and to win. Glory to Ukraine.
Today, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is on a visit to the United Kingdom. He met with Prime Minister Keir Starmer, French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. Macron noted that Europe continues to support Ukraine's efforts.
This discussion, and thank you, Volodymyr, for being with us together with Friedrich. I think we all support Ukraine, and we all support peace and peace negotiations to have a sustainable, a robust peace. And I think we have a lot of cards in our hands. The financing and the furniture of equipment and training programs to Ukraine, the fact that Ukraine is resisting in this war, and the fact that the Russian economy is starting to suffer, especially after our latest sanctions and the US sanctions. And now I think the main issue is a convergence between our common positions, Europeans and Ukrainians, and the US to finalize these peace negotiations and re-engage a new phase in the best possible conditions for Ukraine, for the Europeans, and for our collective security. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister Keir Starmer, for having us here in 10 Downing Street in London today. I highly appreciate that we are having the opportunity to see you, Volodymyr, together with Emmanuel, and talking about the upcoming days, because this could be a decisive time for all of us. So we are trying to continue our support for Ukraine, as you know. On the other hand, we are seeing these talks and negotiations in Moscow and in the US. I'm looking forward to hear from you what the outcome of these talks might be. And we are still and remain strongly behind Ukraine and giving support to your country, because we all know that this, the destiny of this country is the destiny of Europe. So that's the reason why we are here, trying to figure out what we can do. And nobody should doubt on our support for Ukraine. And this is what we are firmly standing behind, and the outcome is open. I'm skeptical about some of the details which we are seeing in the documents coming from the US side, but we have to talk about that. That's why we are here. Thank you for your invitation.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, the Ukrainian parliament denied Trump's claim that President Zelensky hasn't read the document he was given. Trump said earlier that Zelensky still hasn't looked at the so-called peace papers, but Ukrainian officials say this is not true.
So we've been speaking to President Putin, and we've been speaking to Ukrainian leaders, including Zelensky, President Zelensky. And I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelensky hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago. His people love it, but he hasn't. Russia's fine with it. Russia, I guess, would rather have the whole country when you think of it. But Russia is, I believe, fine with it, but I'm not sure that Zelensky's fine with it. His people love it, but he hasn't read it. So someday you'll explain that one to me, Jeff.
In Russia, they are trying to hide the results of the talks. Peskov is calling for negotiations to be kept non-public so they can push their unreasonable demands behind closed doors.
We don't know exactly what the differences of opinion are. You know that detailed work was done in Moscow for Putin's meeting with Peskov and Kirchner. Then Peskov and Kirchner worked with a delegation of Ukrainian negotiators, headed by Umarov, based on the results that were achieved in Moscow. Now, it is important for us to understand exactly what the results of this work are. Well, it is obvious that now the parties still understand more that it is necessary to work in silence. Such work cannot be carried out in public. It is not constructive, and the main thing is that it does not allow to achieve results. Therefore, we expect to receive such information. Then it will be clear.
The US Congress has approved the federal budget, which includes $80 million for Ukraine. Meanwhile, in Russia, they are celebrating the idea that relations between the US and Russia are supposedly improving on the Kremlin terms.
Yesterday, you already commented on Donald Trump's strategy. How do you think this strategy can be trusted? And isn't there a fear that with the change of administration in 2 or 3 years, this strategy may change and no longer take Moscow's opinion into account?
There are always such fears, because we know that different administrations adhere to different points of view, engage in different nuances in foreign policy. Here is such nuance as we see in the new concept. It certainly impresses us. It talks about the need for dialogue and building constructive, good relations. It cannot fail to impress, and it absolutely corresponds to our vision. And we understand that by eliminating those irritants that exist even now in the bilateral plan, in this way a prospect may open before us for a real, let's say, restoration of our relations, bringing them out of a rather deep state of crisis. Well, what will happen next? This is the next administration. It is unlikely that anyone will take it upon themselves to predict.
Dear viewers, I heard your request for deliver the news more slowly. Thank you for your engagement. Please write in the comments if the current pace is comfortable for you. Share your thoughts about the situation in Ukraine and the world. I'm truly grateful for every comment. Thank you for your support in Ukraine. See you soon.